Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're watching the daily dismal Disney news in real time.
Yeah, the D4.
The D4. Actually, it's bad news for us because our Disney...
Oh, it just dropped more.
God, our
It
Disney...
went down to 92. Wasn't 93 before?
Yeah, it's been dropping. It's been dropping all day. Yesterday, Disney, after their shareholder meeting, which, you know, historically, it makes people feel good about where the company's going. And it usually raises the stock price. It closed at, I think, $105 yesterday, and it's been dropping all day.
Yeah.
Now, part of this is because of the travel ban that's been announced.
Part of it's because of the thing we can't talk about.
The
but,
thing
you know,
we can't
I'm
talk
watching
about.
over here on the right-hand side, too, and they're going down
Everybody's
as well.
going down.
Everybody's going down, which people keep saying, well, you can't say anything because everybody's going down. No one said they weren't. However, Disney's going down far worse than everybody else, which is the problem.
Disney's change is 12%, and you look at the other companies, they're like 6%, 10%, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Disney stock, how dire it really is right now, and you know, all the factors associated with that, except for that one thing we can't talk about, that beer-related thing we're not allowed to talk about. You know what we're talking about. Then we're going to talk more about this in particular yesterday, which we mentioned in the other video, covering the shareholders meeting where we had some concerned people coming out and saying, Disney, you're two-faced. Mm-hmm. You know, you're saying one thing, but you're doing something else. You're giving money to some organizations to make it look like you're good people, but then you're doing the complete opposite.
Right, behind the scenes.
And it was nuns that called them out. I didn't catch that.
It was the nuns.
We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about, you know, how the rules sometimes don't apply to Disney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where did this go?
Where did this go?
I've been looking, and it kind of disappeared after September of last year.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about all that in this roundup, this daily dismal Disney roundup. Disney pixie dust fans, hold on to your Mickey ears.
Yeah, if you want bullshit covered in whipped cream, this is not the site for you. I recommend going to some of the travel agency owned blogs or some of the Disney shill sites on YouTube that, you know, have no views. I would recommend hitting those because, you know, as their views go down, because they're just pouring more whipped cream and Disney sprinkles all over the crap. So it makes it more palatable. And we're just going to tell you the truth. And if you don't like it, I don't want to tell you.
A spoonful of whipped cream makes the horse shit go down.
That's right.
All right, guys. So before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We topped 100,000. God, this is dire.
It's going to hit. It's going to go down 91 soon.
Oh my God.
It was 93 before we started the video.
It was 94 when I started checking this morning. I'm like, wow, man, it really dropped. That's steep, and it just keeps going down, down.
They're also probably worried. I haven't checked to see if it's updated, but the governor of California basically said that they think there should be a ban on any events that are 250 people or more, and if you don't have a 6-foot room span between you and other people, it should be closed. And so far they have not announced a closure for Disneyland, which is weird, but whatever. So
yeah, so we're going to talk about all this. There are a lot of things that are going to affect Disney, and I cannot understate how important travel is to the Walt Disney Company as a whole. We talk about this all the time, that the theme parks and the cruises and the other travel options that Disney has bankrolls pretty much everything. Mm-hmm. You know, when they're down in the studios, when they're down on television, they dip into the money for the theme parks and the cruises and all the vacation options, and that is hurting them right now.
Well, so was the movie theater, the box office, because a lot of places are closed.
They depend on China.
So the two biggest things, the movies and the parks, they're taking a hit on. Now, other companies are taking a hit too. No one has ever said that wasn't the case. It's
right.
That theirs isn't solely, but their issues are not solely because of the thing we can't talk about.
No, there are a lot of issues, and this is all coming to a head, and this is what we've been talking about. We saw yesterday firsthand that the shareholders are angry. They're angry. They're bringing up a lot of concerns that a lot of us that are longtime Disney fans, believe it or not, we actually do like Disney.
Oh no, because we complain and want things to be better. That just means we're haters and we don't love it. We don't shit pixie dust, so we are clearly haters.
We just think Disney can be better than what they are. We remember when Disney was better.
We were the shill media.
Yeah, we were.
I cannot stress to you how much whipped cream they pour on stuff, and they make you pour on stuff that you want to keep. I strongly suggest if you'd like to keep your access, that you might want to, put some more whipped cream on that. Make sure you say this but not that. Make sure you hashtag it this but not that. There is a definite spin put on all this stuff, but what do we know? We were just those people. So what do we know?
Case in point, just we'll talk about this while we watch this stock drop off.
It's going up a little bit right now.
Yeah, it goes up and then it always goes down. The trajectory is down. Like I said, it was several dollars higher this morning, and it was down $10 from yesterday. So just to give you an example, I was there. I was the friendly media when Toy Story Land opened, and I think I gave Toy Story Land a B+.
Mm-hmm.
I had very few nitpicks. I said it was too hot.
It was too hot.
I said it did feel a little budget cut, but it was okay. It was nice.
They kind of went with a theme. They could hide the budget cuts with that theme because it makes sense.
Right, because a kid put this together in his backyard. That's the story. It wasn't that bad. Well, I basically got called out for that. I'm like, you can't say
Disney wasn't happy.
It wasn't positive enough.
Meanwhile, other bloggers that were there said pretty much the exact same things, but they were allowed to say it because they were bigger.
Yeah, it depends on the outlet. In this case, though, since we were bankrolled by a travel agency.
That's the thing, because the travel agency.
And the travel agency was, bankrolled by Disney, so we had to watch what we said. So anyway, just be aware that, people have a vested interest in making sure that you go to Disney, even if it's not safe, to go to Disney.
But to be fair, too, the media, I think, is putting it out of control as well. So
right.
I think the truth lies in the middle, which we said multiple times.
Tom Hanks has that thing we can't talk about. Freaking Woody himself, speaking of Toy Story Land, has that thing we can't talk about.
To claim that the only reason that their stocks are falling is because of the thing we can't talk about is not true either.
Yeah, look at this. See, I told you the trajectory is down.
That's why they're burying the CEO change and everything in this.
Yep, because they knew.
They can blame it. Everything's gonna be blamed on it. Our movies that were gonna be shit anyway didn't perform because of this.
Yeah,
they would have been blockbusters. No. Everybody said even before this happened, this year was going to be bad for Disney.
Yeah, there were no real tentpoles. I mean, they're banking on Mulan, but that was designed for China.
People had a fit about that before it was coming out. So we were calling this that they were going to have issues this year, and the stocks are going to drop this year before the beer bug was even mentioned. So does it play into the stocks? Yes. Is it the main reason? No. There's a lot of reasons. There's several.
So here's the thing. This is coming from Forbes yesterday. Just to point this out. Again, we watch the stock market, right? We've got Disney stock. We have other stock.
We own lots of stocks.
So Disney stock has fared worse than the broader index, falling by 9.5% on Monday. Well, it's below that now.
It's like 12 point something now?
Yeah, it's bad. It is. Yeah. Oh God, it's going down again. Bringing its total decline since early February to 25% amid concerns that the studio entertainment business and theme parks could face significant risks from that thing.
Yes.
And it wasn't just that, though. That meeting yesterday, that shareholder meeting, was a freaking disaster.
It was. They're gonna wrap, but they're gonna hide it all in this. That's gonna be their excuse for everything. We didn't do well. Hollywood's excuse for everything is going to be this, just so you know, not just Disney.
Yeah.
Hollywood in general, they're going to blame all their failures. Last year it was because of misogyny. This year it's going to be because of that, even when it's not all because of that.
Oh my God.
We're down under 92.
We just dropped under 92. Oh my God, this is the worst. So just to put this in perspective, I pulled up a 5-year history of Disney. It has not been this low in almost 5 years. The last time Disney dipped under $100 was in 2018. And it hasn't gone down to, let's see here. We're going down. Let's see. It dipped June of 2018. We were under $100. We were at 99.69. Okay. And then we go down. Now we're at $91. Let's see. The last time Disney was that low.
You're gonna be sick.
I'm looking. It's been a long time. I don't think it's. Oh my God! It might have never been this low in the last 5 years.
It's been this low, I'm sure.
92 in 2016.
But you have to understand, it was 92, but it was around the $90-some range in general, so it wasn't such a big drop. Like the problem is not that it's gone to 91, because it was that way in 2016, but it wasn't like $100-some as the average. Yeah. Around that time, where here it was like almost 150 like a few months ago.
Yeah. It was I think it was 150. I want to say it was $158 when they had their shareholder meeting where they're bragging about Disney Plus, and everybody's like, Disney Plus is the future. Disney Plus, and it was like $158 a share.
To be fair, it might be the future. If everybody's quarantined to their house, they might go and subscribe to Disney Plus. They have something to do.
Well, if they can't make the damn shows because of it, what are we gonna do? So yeah, now we're under $92. We're gonna keep an eye on that. So. Let's talk about this, because this came up in the meeting yesterday. And again, there are more factors here than that thing. in regards to Disney. Shareholders are not happy.
Yeah, it's not just that. I mean, that is a big part of it. We're not going to say it's not. It's a big part of it for a lot of companies, but there's more to it than just that. You have all these rides breaking down that the shareholders are calling that out. They're calling underperformance of films that happened last year that have nothing to do with the things going on right now. And we have this issue about lobbying that was called out as well.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about it yesterday. We did kind of a recap of that meeting, and we had some people actually ask us in the comments for more specifics about this, because Disney is being accused of being two-faced. They're like, you give to these social issues publicly, and you make a big production out of how you're socially conscious, and then you turn around and do the complete opposite.
Right.
And we need full disclosure. We need full disclosure of where your lobbying dollars are going to, Disney.
But we'll give credit to CBR for this one.
Yeah.
Good job, CBR. You actually did something that's really, really, really informative. They're behind this article, and they break it down, and they did a really good job with it.
They actually did a very good job.
So I'm going to give them credit where credit's due.
We'll give them. Thank you. This was not written by Anthony.
No.
But it's interesting that nuns, I did not catch that they were nuns. I was kind of skipping around through the meeting. But at the 2020 shareholder meeting, the Sisters of St. Agnes.
So wait, they're shareholders.
They are. One of the shareholders requested full, regular reports about Disney's lobbying. Now, this is in the same meeting where people were like, hey, Disney, why are you having the gay pride parades in the parks?
That's probably why.
That might have been, I don't know if it was them or not.
I don't know. That makes sense why they bring that up. I thought that was an odd thing to bring up. But yeah, so. Oh, then people were like, oh, he dropped the mic because he showed them. He didn't even answer the question.
They sidestepped the question.
They sidestepped it.
That's Disney.
Dropped the mic because he didn't answer anything. Good job.
As nervous as Chapek looks in these meetings, he would drop the mic, but he would drop it because he's a nervous wreck. Mm-hmm. No, they didn't. Disney didn't answer anything, and people didn't ask them the really tough questions like, how did you fuck up Star Wars? Mm-hmm. They probably, I don't know if they screened people before they asked the questions, but I was surprised.
Well, we know that you were given a loud list of questions when you were at the media.
Yes.
There were questions that you see these people like, oh, they're interviewing these Disney people. No. See, as it turns out, there is an approved list of questions that you are allowed to ask questions from the list because they are already robotically programmed to answer with specific prompts.
And when I mean robotic, like these Disney ambassadors, I swear to God, they coach them, and you had a list. They literally had a board up when you walked into the auditorium. You can ask her one of these 5 questions.
Those are the only questions you're allowed to ask. So when you're interviewing, quote unquote, you're not actually allowed to ask questions other than the ones that were already approved. But yeah, we'll put that again with the pile of crap covered in whipped cream. But what do we know?
What do we know? So at Disney's 2020 shareholder meeting, the Congregation of the Sisters of St. Agnes presented a proposal that, if passed, would require Disney to fully disclose their lobbying efforts. Congregation argued that Disney didn't disclose the full extent nor purpose of their lobbying, and that there were large discrepancies between Disney's public mission statements and the few lobbying efforts that were visible, driving down the trust in the company and potentially their share value.
Well, trust issues with the company is driving down their share value. People are, they're not as trusting of Disney lately because they keep raising prices, cutting experiences, cutting maintenance by the way it seems.
Yeah, that was another
And,
concern.
There's a lot of weirdness going on, and I think people are starting to be like, whoa, wait, what the hell's going on at Disney?
Well, okay, here's an example. People were specifically asking in the comments yesterday for examples.
Here we go.
And I couldn't remember them off the top of my head, but here's one. For example, Disney signed an agreement to work with the United Nations in environmental issues to combat and raise awareness around climate change, yet the Chamber of Commerce undermined the Paris Climate Accord. The Congregation of the Sisters of St. Agnes said in their shareholders meeting, I do remember this part, and Disney is a member of the National Restaurant Association, which has spent millions on the state level and has worked with the controversial American Legislation Exchange Council to stop local measures to enact paid sick leave laws.
Oh yeah, because that'll cost them more money, and we got to cut those costs.
Now, this is interesting. Given Disney, this is a nun. This is a nun saying this. They're getting slapped. I love the Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, I know.
I love this. Comic Book Resources actually did a good job on this. Given Disney's lack of complete lobbying disclosure, shareholders remain concerned that company assets could be used for objectives that are contrary to Disney's long-term mission and interest and could cause reputation risk and harm share value. Said Ebony Perkins, who represented the Sisters of St. Agnes, we believe disclosure transparency is a safety mechanism for our company and its reputation, as what gets disclosed gets managed. Full disclosure of Disney's lobbying will ensure proper oversight of our company's lobbying, and we urge shareholders to vote for this proposal.
Basically, the shareholders aren't being told, and the public aren't being told what they're lobbying for. They're being told one thing and then finding out that they're, turning around doing the opposite. So, I mean, how do you even gain ground? If if you have two heads and you're constantly, doing two different things, you're not going to gain ground anyway.
Disney basically is about Disney. Like, they put on this public facade. That's their image.
We care. We're about family. We're about saving the environment. We're about making sure the wetlands are protected. We're about making sure, our cast members are treated well. But let's go let's go make sure we push agendas through that make sure they don't get paid sick leave. Or, we can decimate this land or that land for whatever we want to do for our resorts or whatever.
Well, since we're talking about nuns, bad press is holy water to Disney. Disney doesn't do...
Oh, that's true.
It is. It really is. Disney doesn't do anything until the press gets involved and they get negative media attention. They would not have given those cast members raises. They would not have bargained with the union if it wasn't for all the bad press. Trust me, they wouldn't have.
And they blocked some of those press agencies from going to movie premieres because they didn't give them the right kind of press. And then that was a backlash. And then they, suddenly, it was oversight. Yeah.
I love that. LA Times, because they were critical of Disney's, bargaining posture with the unions. They were very critical of how low they pay their employees in Southern California. They were blocked from going to movie premieres. So the mouse can be very vindictive. Too. They can be and we know this firsthand too.
Mouse can be bitchy.
The mouse can be bitchy. Mickey's got perpetual PMS. He does. So Disney has fought every step of the way to prevent its shareholders from voting on the proposal. Of course they have. Disney's legal representative.
Oh, this is very interesting, guys. Real quick.
Yeah, because this ties into something else.
On October 21st of last year, okay? Disney's legal representative contacted the Securities and Exchange Commission to request the exclusion of the proposal from their proxy materials, arguing that in their letter that the company's relations with groups such as the National Restaurant Association and the Chamber of Commerce should be applauded and endorsed by shareholders. I mean, they said, well, it should be because we said so. But interestingly enough, if you remember when we were talking before, it was like August of last year that there was that whistleblower incident and there was an investigation, quote unquote, with the SEC. That was in August. And by end of September, you didn't hear anything else about it. Nothing else was about it. But Disney felt comfortable enough going to the SEC to request an exclusion for their proposal. Now, the SEC, to be fair, denied their request, but they felt comfortable enough with the SEC, even though they were under a supposed investigation, that they went there to ask for something.
Yeah. So look, we said when this happened, when this SEC, now for those of you who don't quite know what's going on here, they basically said they inflated the revenue in the parks.
For many years.
That they would put freebies and perks down as revenue. They would double dip. They would actually count, instead of counting one ticket, they count two tickets.
Or if they gave out a gift card, that's usually a loss. They'd count the gift card they gave out, and then when it was spent twice, so it was counted twice.
Yeah, and look, companies do this. I believe it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I believe it. And this woman, she wasn't just like an intern or something. She was a pretty high-ranking accountant. And 2017 is when Disney really started, letting a lot of people go. They were paring down in theme parks, and they just kind of rolled her into the layoffs. And Disney does this. When there's trouble, people get gone, but then they always blame something else.
When there's trouble, you know who to call. The attorneys.
Talking to some attorneys who deal in entertainment law, they said they'll take on any studio but Disney. Like, they won't even go anywhere near Disney.
Unless they have a solid case.
Yeah, because they said Disney's lawyers, they're the best of the best of the best. And they know all the loopholes.
Why do you think they keep the lobbying so successful and they keep all the, things out of public domain and all that?
Yeah, there's a reason that Mickey Mouse is still copyrighted, right? He shouldn't be, but he still is. So, this disappeared down the memory hole. So, and we knew it would. We actually said when this happened, people were like, oh, Disney's going to get it now. It's like, no, they're not. No, they're not.
Just like that whole thing with the Onward, with the van.
Yeah.
Suddenly the case must have gone away because it went out to the films, to the theaters. The McDonald's got the toys. Walmart got the toys. Everybody got the toys with Guinevere on it.
We heard there was a settlement.
Oh, I'm sure there was.
And when there's a settlement, you never hear what the details.
You get gagged, yeah.
Yeah, you get gagged. Basically, we will give you money, shut the hell up, take your money, but you're not allowed to talk about this anymore. So the artist who's complaining about her artwork being taken
probably got paid off.
She disappeared.
We don't know that. We're just saying it's likely is the outcome.
That happens a lot, actually.
Does happen a lot.
So here we go. The Disney. Well, that was the same with the. That was the same with the Skyliner too. They said to the media that Disney would deal with everybody on a case-by-case basis. That means how much money or how many perks is it going to take to shut you up?
Yeah, that's how you don't hear anything.
Bad press is holy water to Disney.
Well, not just that, but their lawyers will for sure threaten.
Oh yeah.
And the people that do try to stand up to Disney, a lot of them go away because they're bought off, but the ones who do try to stand up to Disney, oftentimes they'll just drag you out in court till you run out of money because they know they have a lot of it. Well, they did.
I think the times are a-changing. So anyway, this went down the memory hole. I have to wonder because of this, if this situation isn't going to suddenly reactivate.
I don't know.
Especially now because maybe Disney they're weakened, and some people might just kind of reignite this situation here. But yeah, so the nuns are basically like, you guys got to tell us where the money is going. Now, here's the problem. They said in U.S. law, corporations are considered people and equate freedom of speech with freedom of spending, as a restriction on spending for political communication necessarily reduces the quantity of expression. Hence, Disney's lawyers argue they should be able to keep their lobbying secret from their shareholders to protect their freedom of speech spending from possible attack. So the Sisters of St. Agnes might not be comfortable with where some of Disney's lobbying money is going to. When we know, again, this came up in the meeting. I don't think Disney expected to, but we know that they have a bias when it comes to the news.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was, I was going to mention, is part of the reason the stocks are going down as well, was they got busted on that. But I mean, if you're going to be completely fair, is anybody surprised that a news network has bias? They all do.
They all do.
There are studies dedicated to where they fall on the political spectrum. Nobody is surprised that that news outlet has a political bias. That is not a surprise to anyone.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like surprise Pikachu face.
But mostly they don't get caught.
Yeah, and I think the situation with that reporter at ABC, his biggest sin wasn't that he had a bias. His biggest sin is he spoke out against his employer, and then Disney tried to be like, oh, because he showed clear bias, we're gonna smack him
his objectivity is questionable.
His objectivity is questionable, so we're just gonna smack him on the wrist, and we're not gonna let him cover politics anymore because we're protecting you, dear viewer.
His objectivity, when they say that, they meant loyalty.
Yeah. Yeah, his loyalty was and look, it's kind of stupid if you're working for Disney to be trash talking Disney, even at a party, to somebody that you may or may not even know, because they do have ears everywhere.
Right, they really do.
They really do. I'm not even kidding. Like,
we know for a fact they listen to our videos.
They listen to our videos
because we have ears a lot of places too.
We do. But I also know that cast members narc on each other all the time, and it's it is what it is, because you've got people who are so. And we see it all the time. We see it with, a lot of these Disney news outlets and the YouTubers and stuff.
We see it with the comments.
Yeah, they're so bedazzled by the pixie dust that you can say nothing negative about Disney. You can be 95% positive, say 5% negative things about Disney, and they will call you out because you left the herd. And we know this for a fact. We saw it firsthand when we were doing this stuff.
It takes more courage to stand up for something you know is wrong than to go with the flow. And also, a lot of the ones that come on here screaming are cowards anyway behind hidden accounts.
Yeah, we get a lot of rando, no history, no channel history or anything. People that come on, they always come in waves too. I think it's like
the same thing. It's like the same person.
I think it's the same person. We got these like pro Disney people, same person. They all say a variation of the same thing. They keep switching out their usernames.
Yes, and why? I mean, my friend told me.
Yeah, right. So yeah, they said that their proposal not pass 66 to 33 with 1% specified.
But there was something else that was interesting here, guys, that you forgot to mention. Here, this is important. They're going to have a vote at this meeting. But they made sure that they said that the shareholder, they lost to SEC. The SEC said they had to put the proposal out. The shareholder proxy materials included a highlighted paragraph recommending shareholders vote against the disclosure of lobbying efforts, indicating that abstention, unless otherwise specified, would count as a negative vote in their favor.
So even no vote is a vote for Disney.
Exactly.
Gosh, this sounds very political, doesn't it? So yeah, it didn't pass because a lot of people didn't. There was 1% specified abstention. Most of Disney's shares are in the hands of large investment funds like Vanguard and BlackRock. They tend to vote against lobbying disclosures because it's going to hurt stock. Because if it comes out that Disney's giving money to, it doesn't matter who you are. If Disney is giving money to the wrong people on either side, people are going to get pissed, and Disney wants everybody's money.
They want everybody. They're gonna tell you whatever. They're gonna listen. They're gonna read what you are, who you are. Probably have information about what what you look at online and everything else, and they're gonna tell you specifically what you want to hear to back them.
Yeah,
just like most other places. So I mean,
yeah,
like Facebook and other places. I mean, to be fair, everybody does this. So.
When asked about her resolutions for next year, Sister Ruth Battaglia, the Director of Justice, Peace, and Integrity of Creation...
They didn't know they had titles, but okay.
Okay, expressed her intention to resubmit the proposal for disclosure in 2021. I didn't know what I was getting into, she said, but I might as well take up the mantle again. So they're not going to let it go.
No.
And I think they want to see... again, you're going to have people on the right and the left that are going to have issues where, where Disney's concerned, where their money's going.
Well, this comes down to the whole idea that money should be taken out of politics anyway, because the lobbying, since it's been allowed, is out of control. And I think that, companies can lobby for what they want, but they have to disclose because they're using shareholder, shares and money that, other people are paying them and being supported by it. They should disclose where they're lobbying. And I think, I think it's fair what they're asking.
I think it's very fair. I mean, as shareholders, I would like to know what.
If you weren't doing something shitty, why do you have to hide?
Yeah, well, they're afraid of backlash because they know they're not going to make anybody happy because it's going to turn out that Disney is playing both sides. They're playing to the right.
I'm 100% sure they are.
It's like, well, The Last Jedi, right? One of the few things I actually did like in The Last Jedi was Benicio del Toro's character, where he basically said, I'm the arms dealer. You're getting your weapons from the same place. The good guys and the bad guys, both of them buy from the same place, and that's Disney. They're selling to both sides. They're playing both sides.
Right.
They'll tell you whatever you want to hear. Now, it is interesting, though, and people brought this up. Now, they did get rid of their Christian music festival at Disney. Okay. But then again, you have to realize, like, the gay pride is not something that they officially sponsor. So
they're not really sponsoring anything like that.
No,
they're kind of staying neutral.
I think that's what they're doing. I think they got rid of. I honestly think they got rid of the Christian music festival because people were kind of calling them on that too. Yeah, so they're like, let's just stay apolitical, spiritual, whatever. And hey, Mickey Mouse Magic, have a cupcake.
Yeah,
we don't want to talk about this.
Don't look about what's going over there. Look, new cupcake. Ooh.
I think that's what's going on. But yeah, people want to know. And again, it's both sides. And both sides are going to have issues with where Disney's money's going.
You don't need to see what's going on behind the curtain.
No. So this, I think, is going to come back up at some point. I don't know when.
It's gone away so far.
It has gone away so far. But this was a big one. And again, this was not a rando that brought this up. We'll see. But people are like, oh, Disney's going to be like Enron. No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think Disney's going to go down anytime soon either. I'm sorry. People want to hear it's going to fold. And I think it's going to take a huge hit. I think they're going to have to reflect on their life and make some, hard choices and changes. But I don't think it's going to collapse.
No, it's going to take a hit for sure. And because of that thing, Disney is going to be hit harder than a lot of companies because they depend so much on travel. So I don't know what to tell you. The stocks, well, it's going up a little bit now, but it's definitely on a downward slide. This is not going to be a good year for Disney.
No, and I'm so tired of people saying, all the stocks are down. Yes, we're not saying they aren't. We understand that. But statistically speaking, compared to other stocks, it's much lower.
And again, they did not do themselves any favors at that meeting yesterday.
No,
it was a cluster.
I think that's why they're lower than the other stocks. I think they would have stayed at pace, and I think their comments just made them go lower.
California now, obviously we had the other travel ban. California is talking about, not getting together in groups. Disneyland won't close. You watch. They'll find some reason. Just wash your hands.
Even in France, they have their mandate, and I think theirs is groups of 1,000 or more, which is more than what they're saying in California. And Disneyland still isn't closed, and that's with 3 cast members testing positive, because their answer is, well, they weren't anywhere near the guests. Okay, well,
what'd they touch? What'd they lick?
One was maintenance. I mean,
yeah.
So, they're not going to close it. They will not.
Nope.
They will do everything in their power to not close it because, quite frankly, I don't think they can really afford.
They can't.
To take the hit. So they'll probably stay open. I'm sure that's costing them money to do so. I'm sure there's some palms being greased for that one.
So of course this is a year we get the annual passes. Can't use.
Of course, yeah, we can't go to it. But again, it's up to you if you want to. It's like we're telling everybody, make your own decisions. I think that the truth lies in the middle. But decide. I just also think, why are we freaking out so bad if it wasn't bad? But just truth lies in the middle. So make your own decisions about whether or not you want to go. If California is being hit so hard, they're telling everybody if it's 250 people or more that they shouldn't have their meetings
and stand 6 feet from each other.
Right, but Disneyland will stay open. So
they will, because the rule. I mean, I think that's the whole gist of this video is the rules don't apply to a company like Disney. Well,
I don't think it's just them. I think there's other bigger companies too that are probably going to be left open, like Universal and things like that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to just blame Disney on that because that would be very unfair.
No, I'm saying companies like Disney. Despite the family-friendly facade, they are a corporation with a lot of influence and a lot of pull, and the rules don't quite apply to them.
Well, my takeaway from all this is I hope that this stops the arrogance that we've been seeing for the last few years, and that maybe they'll take a look. The shareholders have been calling them out about their lack of imagination and creativity. Yeah. They'll take a look at what people are saying, and they'll see what they can do to make improvements. And I'm hoping that by doing that, it makes it better. Because like with Sonic, everybody, when they listened and everybody saw they were listening and they made an effort, people want to support that because they're listening. If Disney, by some miracle, would suddenly be like, you know what, maybe we're doing the wrong things, and would try to do it about face and do right by the customer, right by the investors, I think that we would be wrong to not support them.
Yeah.
Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think that they're going to have a comeuppance, but I don't think their takeaway is going to be what it should be.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I mean, we'll see. They're gonna have to eat some humble pie. Mm-hmm. Iger talked about it being sobering yesterday. I think it's gonna be more. I think they need a cathartic revelation to get it. Like, this is what we're doing wrong, and it might take a financial hit. To really a huge financial hit for them to get it, to get back together. Yeah.
Well, this is Clownfish TV, and that's our drop the mic moment.
Boom.
I don't know. I just say it because I can't stand that person. Anyway.
All right, so we're going to wrap this one up. Mm-hmm. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.